Hi guys, this is Delgado, and today we are going to take a look at how I made my track Plan B. We will start by listening to the full piece and then I will break it down step by step. As you see, I worked in Ableton with Focal Clear MG Pro headphones for monitoring. My room isn't acoustically treated, so I prefer to invest in good headphones for making better sound design and mixing decisions. So kick and bass. For the kick, I use a sample from Kashmir in the tone of the track. 6 dB attenuation. I did some processing on the kick. As I said, I mix as I go, so you will see often utility in the effects FX section of Ableton. I use it essentially to adjust the volume as I go. So if I remove all the processing, it sounds like that. Okay. I made some EQing. I removed some frequency in the muddy area and around 6000. But I bring it back with saturation for the 6000 part. I think, yeah. I bring back it here in this area. So before and after. If you have a good audio system, you can hear the difference. Psycops is here to just check if there is no phase cancellation with the bass, with the sub bass. So if we play it together, okay, no phase cancellation. Okay, that's for the kick. In the intro, I just take the first transient, and you have the full kick just after. Okay. We process it in a group, but I will go back to it after the bass. The bass is simply a rolling bass on the root note of the track, D minor. So, yeah, this is it. With a little change at the end of the 8 bar and another little changes at the drop. Yeah. I made it on Serum. Yes. I choose a surround waveform that I felt an EQ in Serum. EQ to give it a smoother tone. And I use velocity in MIDI to trigger in the middle part to trigger the drive of the filter with velocity. It adds some movement. For the third part, I think I add a noise and some distortion. Yeah, it's soon awful. Yeah, in solo, but with I just keep the high end, the very high end, and add saturation. I add saturation If we were on the low for harmonics, you will see the same on the mid part. So if I just take the mid part, it sounds like that without processing. This is it. I add saturation with a preset from FabFilter Saturn. I add more saturation with the twin tube. Erosion and redux on the mids for subtle digital distortion to help it cut through the mix and give it more characters again. Erosion. Okay, and redux. Okay. And some stereo imager from Ozone for adding stereo. Yeah. The three together. I just forget to remove this. I just add an LFO for the movement. No sidechain here. And the two over the EQ are just for letting let's place to the lead. I will back after. So that's it for the bass. Yeah, just some cutoff at the end of the. Yeah, okay. Just up. I processed the bus with Pultec emulation from UID. I like the way it's on. I feel it. This is warmer. So if I remove before and after, yeah. I add a glue compressor just to glue everything, and a clipper for the loudness. And the Moog was made with Monarch. I take the audio from the final version because I changed my setup and I lost all my reactors bank with Monarch, but I try to recreate it, so it sounds like that. It's a classy Moog sound, and I played with the cutoff. Yeah. In the break, I add a glide FX. So it sounds like that. Okay, a bit of reverb and saturation again. Yeah. I think the reverb is just the default the default from Valhalla Supermassive, but it sounds good, so I didn't change anything. And yeah, I cut a bit the low end. Okay. So in context again,